want to jump right in here and just say that I know exactly how you're feeling right now. Failing by just a few points can feel devastating, especially when you're so close. Like whether it's a 449, a 443, or even, just 2 points away from passing, it feels like you're stuck in this endless loop of almost making it and then falling short. And that's really tough. Like, that's really, really tough. And trust me, like, I get it. I've been there. I get it. We don't know exactly how many questions you need to get right to score that specific number, but we do know it's not a lot. You could literally be 1 or 2 questions away from passing, and that's a huge deal. So while I know it feels like failure, in reality, it's a sign that you are really, really close. And I want you to reframe the situation in your mind. So, first things first, we need to realize that if you're really close to passing, you're doing something right. I want to say that again. If you are really, really, really close to the 450 passing score, you are doing something right. Your strategy is working. You're really close, right? You're getting close, and that's a huge sign of progress. Oftentimes, right, we feel like we're just doing everything wrong and we feel like we need to overhaul our entire strategy when we're only 2 points away from passing. I want you to think of it like this. Imagine if you were trying to lose weight and you were 2 pounds away from your goal weight. Would you say, oh my God, I am doing everything wrong, right? Like this is not working, right? I'm 2 pounds away from my goal, my dream weight. No, of course not. You wouldn't overhaul everything. Instead, you would just fine tune your approach. Maybe you would tweak your diet or increase your workouts just a little bit more to get to that last bit of progress. That's exactly what we're doing with your exam prep. I want to share a story of one of my favorite students. All of you guys are my favorite students, but this story sticks with me because of the situation of her being so close. So I was working with this student and she had taken the exam multiple times. And, she scored a 441. She was 9 points away from passing. So she was really close, obviously, because the passing score is 450. And we felt like we were on the right track. So after working with her, we, stuck with her current resources. We were getting better practice scores, right? Things were changing. So she goes on, she takes her she takes her exam, and I'm waiting on the email, right? After she takes the exam, like all of you, I'm just waiting on that email, when you get your scores. So the email reads, hi, Kim. I'm hoping you're doing well. I found out I didn't pass. I'm not sure, what I'm supposed to do next. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'm so defeated. My score went down significantly this time. Should I keep 450? Try something else? I don't know. I'm just feeling uncertain right now. And then she shared her latest scores with me. So she went from a 441 to a 416. That is a devastating drop. That is 25 points lower when she was only 9 points away from passing. So of course she was devastated. She said in her email that she felt less anxious this time around, yet her score went down. So I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to figure out like what could have went wrong. Like she was doing so good in all of our sessions. She was doing good. She was passing her, her practice exams. She was feeling so much better. She was confident. She had clarity. Everything was going right. The difference is she tried a new resource. She tried OT help desk and was uncertain if that was the reason for her drop. Now, this is why this was a mistake, and this is exactly where she went wrong. I'm not saying that the resource was the problem, and I want to be very clear about that. I'm not faulting the resource. But the key here is that when you add a new resource into your prep at the wrong time, it can confuse your strategy. It can cause a drop in performance. I see this every single day. It's like starting a new workout routine right before you're about to hit your goal, right when you're 2 pounds away from your goal. You've been working so hard with the resources that you've been using. The score was a 441, just 9 points from passing, and that little change in approach with a new resource without reassessing your strategy caused her to drop to a 416. Imagine how defeating that must feel. This is a classic example of why you don't need to overhaul everything. You've worked so hard. You're within a few points of passing. You are doing something right. And I will emphasize that this entire episode, you're doing things right. So instead of changing everything, whether it's a resource, your strategy, your approach, you need to focus on fine-tuning what you're already doing well. So what do we do? What do we do when we're a few points away from passing? First, we analyze where we're missing points. Was it a specific domain? Is it a tricky set of questions, right? If you're within a few points of passing, you likely know the material well, but you just need to solidify some of those concepts just to kind of tweak those last few weak spots. So again, right, what are you doing to really analyze what's going on? And then what is the action step? After you analyze, what I want you to do? Nothing at all. Literally nothing. Don't change anything. Okay, well, not literally. You're going to do something, but I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I need to go buy a new resource. Oh my God, I need to, look on Facebook and ask everyone what approach are they using. Oh my God, I need to just do something different. No, it's more about deepening your knowledge and identifying where you're missing points than overhauling everything. So let's start with deepening your understanding of the content. And you've heard me say this before, right? Every day I hear you guys on Facebook and in my inbox. Kim, I know the content. I promise you, I know all of the content, right? You think you know the content, right? But not quite. You might know enough to get you to that borderline score, to get you really close to the 450, but we need to take it a step further. And we really need to talk about mastering the content so that you can skyrocket your score the next time you take the exam. So let me give you an example. If I gave you a practice quiz on, let's just say, upper extremity injuries and orthotics, literally, just the thought of a practice test only, talking about upper extremity injuries and orthotics is daunting, right? That sounds horrible because we know this is one of the most complex and convoluted topics on this exam. Now, for all of you who want to go on to be hand therapists, kudos to you. I applaud you because I find this topic really, really challenging. But let's just imagine I give you this exam and there's 10 questions on upper extremity injuries and orthotics. How many would you confidently get correct? How many questions out of 10? Would you get 5 questions out of 10 correct? Would you get 6 questions out of 10 correct? Would you get 4 questions out of 10? Even if you got, let's say half, right? 50%. 50% is not enough to hit the 450 mark on the exam. 50% of knowledge is not enough. So my goal for you is for you to confidently get 8 or 9 questions correct. That's when we know you've truly deepened your content confidence. That's when I know you will definitely increase your score. Because what we don't want to happen is for you to go from a 441 and then you walk into the exam with the same amount of knowledge and you jump to a 445 or 447. Now, I'm going to praise you for a 5-point increase because it means that, right, you're doing better. You're increasing your understanding. But I don't want you to only go from a 441 to a 447. I want you to go from a 441 to a 450, a 460, a 470. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go through the knowledge checklist. I'm going to provide that in the show notes. And I want you to start quantifying how much do you know about each major topic. For example, visual deficits. You right? Do you understand what the visual deficits are? Do you understand the differences between those visual deficits and how they present differently? Do you understand the struggles that your client is going to experience with glaucoma versus diabetic retinopathy? Do you understand the difference between visual neglect and visual spatial deficits? Do you understand how to assess these areas if you're an OTR? Do you understand the specific interventions and the difference in interventions for someone who may have diabetic retinopathy versus someone who may have visual acuity deficits? This is what I'm talking about when we're saying we need to increase our knowledge and we need to really have a clear understanding of where we stand. And this is why the knowledge checklist is so powerful, because you're going to be able to visually see exactly what you need to know. And then you're going to be able to use red markers, green markers, yellow markers, whatever colors you want to use to say, this is what I don't know, and this is what I need to improve in. The focus is on increasing your knowledge and your understanding until you can confidently say, I will get 8 to 9 or maybe 10 questions on Kim's made up 10 question quiz about upper extremity injuries. So again, fine tuning, right? Assessing your performance, really understanding where you're going wrong and not overhauling. You're so close to passing. And I want to remind you that please, right? Please, please, please don't overhaul everything. It's very natural to feel like you need to change your strategy, but trust me on this. Trust me. I've tutored over thousands of students, and you don't need to change your entire strategy. When you're so close, trying a new technique can actually throw you off and send your score in the wrong direction. So no magic tricks. I know you're going to feel like, okay, Kim, I need to change up everything. I need to add a new study technique. I need to try a different strategy. But here's the thing. You're doing something right. You are so close to passing because your current strategy is working. Your current knowledge is good. Don't do any magic tricks. Stick with what you know, what's been working for you, and only fine tune. So what should you pay attention to? Pay attention to the questions that you consistently struggle with. Like I said earlier, is there a specific topic? Is it the way that the question is phrased, right? Is it when the question asks you something like, what should the OT do initially? Or maybe it's going to give you a deficit or a condition and say, what's going to be most difficult? Pay attention to these questions, right? And pinpoint the type of question that keeps stumping you. And I know you hear me say this over and over again because it's such a critical step. Awareness is a game changer. You need to understand exactly what's causing you to miss points, because that's going to help you make the most impact in this final stretch of taking the exam. And then once you get clear on the questions and the topics that are challenging you the most, then you shift your focus to improving them, deepening your understanding without trying to reinvent your entire strategy. Just like my favorite student, one of my favorite students, right? It's not about changing everything. Be very strategic and selective about what you're going to change. And the good news is, again, you're so close. You're within 10 points of passing, right? Just fine-tuning your approach, right, is the secret to getting you over that finish line. And you're almost there. You're almost there. You're doing something right. And even if, just literally think of it like this. If you walked into the exam and you did the same exact thing, you had the same exact knowledge, you used the same exact strategies that you did, your last attempt, and you deepened your knowledge, let's just say on 20 more questions that require specific content, you would pass. That's how small the difference is. So don't give up or don't change everything. Trust me on this. Focus on the areas that need a little more attention. Keep your confidence high and know that you will make this happen. And I know it's tough. I know it's tough when you don't get that passing score. I've been there, but you're so much closer than you think. You've got what it takes. Keep going, stay focused, and I promise you will get there.